Unity of London, and happy Mother's Day. We've got a special treat for you. Sit back and enjoy.
Give me 1 second. Thank you. Sorry. Hey. Hi. 2 minutes. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. Sorry about that.
Oi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have you ever done one of these interviews over the camera before?
No.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the job to get started with. It's not just a job, it's sort of probably the most important job. The title that we have going right now is Director of Operations, but it's really kind of so much more than that. Responsibilities and requirements are really quite extensive. First category for the requirements would be mobility. This job requires that you must be able to work standing up most or really all of the time, constantly on your feet, constantly bending over, constantly exerting yourself, a high level of stamina.
Okay.
That's a lot. For how many hours?
135 hours to unlimited hours a week. It's basically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I'm sure you'll have a chance from time to time to maybe just sit down here and there, yeah?
You mean like a break?
Yeah.
No, there are no breaks available.
Is that even legal?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like no lunch.
You can have
or-
lunch, but only when the associate is done eating their lunch.
I think that's a little intense.
No.
Not possible.
That's crazy.
Now, this position requires excellent negotiation and interpersonal skill. We're really looking for someone that might have a degree in medicine, in finance, and the culinary arts. You must be able to wear several hats. Associate needs constant attention. Sometimes they have to stay up with an associate throughout the night. Being able to work in a chaotic environment, if you had a life, we'd ask you to sort of give that life up. No vacations. In fact, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and holidays, the workload is gonna go up, and we demand that, with a happy disposition.
That's almost cruel. That's almost a very, very sick, twisted joke.
Worry about when there's time to sleep or...
Oh, no time to sleep.
Yeah, all-encompassing almost.
That's exactly right.
365 days a year?
Yes.
No, that's inhumane.
That's very insane.
The meaningful connections that you make and the feeling that you get from really helping your associate are immeasurable. Also, let's cover the salary. The position is going to pay absolutely nothing.
Excuse me?
No. Nobody's doing that for free.
Yeah, pro bono, completely for free.
No.
What if I told you there's someone that actually currently holds this position right now? Billions of people, actually.
Who?
Moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moms.
That's awesome.
Oh.
And they meet every requirement, don't
wow.
Oh my God. Moms are the best.
Yeah, there's no pay. They're 24 hours. They're always there.
Now I'm thinking about my mom.
they? Yeah, and what are you thinking about her?
I'm thinking about all those nights and everything.
Thank you so much for everything you do. I know it doesn't seem like I appreciate all of it, but I definitely do.
So, Mom, I want to say thank you for everything that you've done. I love you very much. You've been there through thick and thin. My mom is just awesome. She's awesome.
Well, once again, good morning and welcome to Unity of London and happy Mother's Day. As I think about my mom. So welcome to all those that are joining us today here online, and those of you that will watch the service after. At Unity of London, one of our core values is to be loving, and we like to have joyful sharing of loving service with our members as well as our community. Unity of London has the same vision statement as almost all of the unities worldwide, and that is to see a world that is powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. You see, unity isn't just a place. Unity isn't just a Sunday service. It's a movement. It's people sharing their spiritual awakenings, helping others to open up to their divinity and what the powers that lie within them. And in order to realize that vision, our mission here at Unity of London is to inspire people to make a positive difference, transforming lives. And how do we transform our life and others' lives? Is by being an example and being a spiritual contributor to the world at large, to life. Every day we make a difference. Every time we hug someone, we smile at a stranger, sending out good, loving, peaceful, positive, loving energy. And it truly makes a difference. And that's why we come together each Sunday, so that we can share that with each other and fill up on our love for life. And our prayer chaplain, I would be your prayer chaplain today for Breakout Room. As many people know, Wilda is on the move, but she'll be back with us very soon. So anyone wishing individual prayer, I will be available after the service. We can go into a breakout room and have prayer. And speaking of prayer, we're going to now go into prayer. So I invite you to join me. One more announcement. It's Celebration Sunday. So as we go through the service, think about what you're celebrating so that you can share at the end of the service, your celebration of all the good things in life. And so I think now it's prayer time. So I invite you to get settled into your chair. Close your eyes if it's comfortable. And take your awareness away from all the busyness of the morning. Don't think about what's happening next, but connect with your heart space. Connect with Source. And as Unity of London comes together in prayer, we hold Unity White Rock and Unity Westminster with us in our prayer. And as we connect with the Source that gives us all everything we need, we think of those that we love, and especially our mothers today. And whether your mother is still here or whether she has transitioned, as most of our mothers have, we can still hold their love in our heart. And as we hold that love and it expands, that too makes a difference in the world, healing the hearts that are hurting. We also hold in prayer today our beloved Dawn Brigalow as she spends time in the hospital for a few weeks, and we see the specialist finding the dis-ease in her body and finding a way to help her change that. We know that she is being taken care of with loving hands, loving hearts, and the right people are seeing her and looking after her at the right place at the right time in every moment. And that's happening for all of us. As we think of anyone else that we each know that is perhaps at home sick or in a hospital sick, whether it's a dis-ease or a broken heart, we know that the power of love and spirit can heal. And we see so many great things happening for us today and beyond, that as we move through this confusion and chaos, order will prevail. And so we see a beautiful, loving, peaceful world happening one heart at a time. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And now our beloved Bonnie Orvitas will read from today's daily word, which is about love as well.
I give thanks for motherly love. God's perfect love, expressing through my mother, gave me life. God's love, wisdom, and strength guided her and all those who nurtured me as I grew. My words of praise and gratitude let me show my mother how much I appreciate her. When I wish to demonstrate my appreciation for my mother's example, I share the nurturing, motherly love of God in my words and actions with all people. Remembering the times when my mother or another compassionate person listened patiently and shared encouraging words, I seek to be a caring, supportive presence. Recalling my mother's joy each time I learned something new, I share my skills and knowledge willingly when someone seeks my help. In gratitude, I share the gift of nurturing love. From Isaiah 66:13, as a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. This morning, it's my pleasure to introduce our dear Pauline, Duncan Thrasher, who will be giving the message. Pauline has been an active member of Unity for, since 2012. She is a past president. She's a prayer chaplain. She hosts the 11 a.m. daily prayer online and she just does all kinds of things for Unity. Let's face it, we all know that. Anyway, Pauline's message today is mastering fear, affirming courage, and I am sure we will learn and be inspired by her words. There you go, Pauline.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. And mastering fear can sometimes take a lifetime. Would you agree? That from the time we're very small, when our mother maybe had to hold our hand a lot or give us a hug before we started something new, we had to figure out a way to get over that fear. And today I'll be sharing from Acts chapter 2 to begin our talk about mastering fear. Those of you familiar with the Old Testament will know that this has to do with 12 people who were shriveled up with fear. They were so scared that they were in that frozen state. You know what that's like, where you're too afraid to move. You just want to stay in a safe spot. When the day of Pentecost came, they were all together in one place. Suddenly, a sound like the blowing of a violent wind came from heaven and filled the whole house where they were sitting. They saw what seemed to be tongues of fire that separated and came to rest on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit enabled them. Now, we know that in the Bible, there is a lot of language that can be interpreted. And so much of what we heard in that brief excerpt can be interpreted. So I went to Charles Fillmore, to his Metaphysical Dictionary, went to Elizabeth Sands Wood's Be Transformed, Elizabeth Sand Turner, and discovered that the upper room is a place that we all have. It's our thought center. It's our super consciousness, our Christ mind that we have access to. Pentecost itself, and this was the first Pentecost after Jesus died. So the apostles were without their beloved leader. And some of you may relate with that. When someone you love is no longer around and you feel lost, abandoned, very small in a very big world. And perhaps that's how the apostles were feeling. Pentecost itself was a celebration of harvest. And harvesting the fruits of our powers or our abilities is being able to tap into those powers. And you know that this month is the month of power. And it's not, as I used to think briefly, that power is not about dominion over other people. That's mastery over our own thoughts and feelings. When you think about fear, and you think about how it seems to envelop your whole head sometimes, to paralyze you emotionally and maybe even physically. Mastering that feeling of fear requires going to our inner spiritual divine self. So the apostles gathered all together, and they had recently chosen someone to replace Judas. So they were now 12, which metaphysically represents spiritual fullness. Gathered all together, and a mighty wind came, a storm. And what does that wind represent? The inpouring of wisdom, the inpouring of divine ability. And the fire, the tongues of fire, that fire represents a lot. It can represent cleansing. It can also represent the forging of something stronger than what was before. And so these apostles were being inspired. Their conscious minds were blending with their superconscious minds. That blending of minds, superconscious and ordinary conscious mind, meant that they were inspired with what had inspired Jesus. That radiating strength that came not from the ordinary self, but from the spiritual self. They went forth and began to speak in tongues. While some of the people that heard them, everyone apparently understood them. And they were accused of being drunk with wine. Peter, who had previously been scary Peter, pretending he didn't even know Jesus because he was terrified that the soldiers might grab him, Peter went forth a new person, a strong leader, someone who was able to go out and preach. And he did. And he spoke up to the leaders that he had previously feared. He found in himself a leadership fount, the strength to be a leader. Paul Hasselbeck, in his talk about power, describes it as three-pronged: positive, passionate, and proactive. The positive is what you will say. And certainly John and James went out with Peter and they began to preach, they began to spread the word, and many of the other apostles did the same. They were taking on the leadership that they had learned from Jesus. So from being followers, they had become leaders, divinely inspired leaders. They were passionate in how they spread the word of love and caring and healing. Their expectations of themselves were way higher than they had ever been. Have you ever been in a position where you looked up to a leader for years and years, and then all of a sudden that leader was gone? And in your head you thought, what do I do now? I'm not a leader. I don't see myself that way. If that's ever gone through your head, maybe you need to take time to pray, to pause, to consider your divine essence. This story about Pentecost is so relevant for us because the apostles were not extraordinary people. They were ordinary people just like you and me. And I know I don't mean to put you down when I say ordinary, just like you and me. We're each extraordinary, but sometimes we forget that, right? Sometimes we forget that there is an extraordinary radiant energy inside us that can surpass whatever we've done in the past. The apostles were, a lot of them were fishermen. Many of them had no higher education. Some of them did. But when they followed Jesus, they weren't out there leading people. They were following, learning, absorbing. And it was when they took time to tap into that super consciousness that they became inspired. Their oneness, their gathering together, gave them a power that they hadn't had before. They're tapping into what had gone before. From Elizabeth Sand Turner. After Pentecost, they were different men. Peter, who had denied his Lord in fear of the Jewish leaders, was to become fearless when brought before these same leaders in the Sanhedrin, the Supreme Court of the Jews. James and John, who had aspired to sit in the right and left hand of Jesus in his kingdom, were to forget self-interest and seek only to serve in his name. The baptism from on high completely transformed them, and they preached and healed, carrying on his work so effectively that the word traveled near and far. It said that when Peter went out and spoke, 3,000 people decided to join. Now, 3,000 is a number that someone chose. It might not be the exact number. It signifies a lot of people became inspired. Became inspired because Peter was inspired. When in your life do you feel the need to be inspired? Maybe it's when someone you loved left or passed away. Maybe it's when you yourself went through some kind of transition. Right now, our dear Dawn is in the hospital undergoing some tests. And I said to her, don't worry, Dawn, we're going to be praying for you, affirming your spiritual strength. And we do that. We do that with each other. We do with each other what the apostles did with each other. We affirm together in strength. The mastery of our thoughts and feelings is possible, is real, can happen, but we need to be open to that. We need to be open to the inpouring. The Holy Spirit, the God energy, is within us. Always. Always accessible. But we need to make that choice. We need to be willing to start our healing from inside out if we feel the need to heal. To find that courage from inside. And today on Mother's Day, I don't know if many of you remember when your mother passed and how bereft you felt. And I don't want to talk a lot about that because I don't want to make you feel sad, just to know that we have all gone through moments, times, maybe months, maybe years, when we felt so incredibly alone and grief-stricken and fearful and small, tiny in this huge, scary world. But somehow, through prayer, meditation, reflection, time, we managed to move beyond that, to start radiating the God energy that was always within us. I invite you to really think about Pentecost, not necessarily flames of fire, because the fire is a symbol, but to think about the radiating, warming reflection of love, wisdom, and understanding. All those powers coordinate with us mastering our thoughts and feelings. Think of the love you have for other people. And that love alone may inspire you to reach beyond your comfort zone. I shared before our service began about someone I saw last night who was, I think, quite shy, quite uncomfortable in hosting a Zoom birthday celebration for his wife, who had just turned 70. And I know he loves her, and I won't say his name. Some of you know him. And he planned this weeks and weeks ahead of time, contacted people who were friends of his wife to send a testimonial. And he set that all up. Then on the day of her birthday, which was yesterday, well, it's actually today, and he knew they couldn't celebrate in the park, he set a time. And many of the people were older. At first he said 9 o'clock, then he moved it back to 8 o'clock, and they all came. They were all online. And everybody, he had a birthday cake, put the candles in. He's not an outgoing person at all. He's one of the shyest people, yet very wise. Is a writer and does other things. So he moved out of his perhaps natural inhibitions and shyness, propelled by love of his wife. Are there times in your life when your love can be stronger than your fear? When your love of a cause or a person can cause you to move forward and accept something you might normally have said, no, not me, no thanks. Just think about it. I'm sure the apostles didn't want to go out and preach, but their love, their wisdom that had always been within them propelled them forward. Is there anything that can propel you forward? We all get very comfortable. Today was the first time in a long, long time that I chose to do a presentation without pictures. And to be honest, I was a little bit nervous about it. I had forgotten how much I relied on those pictures and that script. But this seemed a message that called for direct connection. We can all picture our own fear. We don't need pictures for that. We can all envision our own timidity, our own times of shyness or backing off. And we can also envision a time when we move forward with courage, energy, understanding, and most of all, love. In the next weeks, next day, today, I invite you to think of those times when you might be holding back, because of fear or timidity, and feel yourself being drawn forward with love and understanding, like the apostles. Let us now go into meditation. I invite you to rest your feet firmly on the floor or a stool or a chair. Wherever you want to put your feet, put them so that you feel anchored. And to relax your mind, to open your mind to an inflow of love, wisdom, and understanding. In this calm place that you create, feel the presence of God. Feel your heart opening to love. Feel your heart answering the call of loving connection. And as a warm glow flows from the top of your head all the way through your body to the tips of your fingers, all the way down your torso to the tips of your toes. Recognize the healing presence of divine love within you. Recognize, appreciate the inspiring feeling of energy directed where you want it to go. In the next few moments, I invite you to choose loving thoughts. Loving thoughts for your mom, loving thoughts for your mother figures, loving thoughts for you, wherever you are. I'll let you know when our time is fulfilled. as we absorb that soothing, strengthening presence of divine love. Know that we can be fearless when following love. When being called to act in understanding and wisdom. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen.
Wow, Pauline, that was pretty awesome. What a just a great way to explain one of the pivotal stories in the Bible and make us think about leadership and in so many different ways. And I do believe you'll get 100% on your. In the words of Patty Keffer, woo! Oh, and now we take a moment to thank the source of our abundance. There's only one place that all great things in our life comes from, spirit. And allowing that spirit or that supply to flow through you to Unity of London is a way of you showing spirit that you know where your source is. And we continue to receive your financial gifts and tithes. We thank those who spontaneously give as they have a call upon their heart to do so, and see you returning spontaneous spurts of prosperity as the energy returns to you. And we truly thank those who give regularly in the form of tithe, knowing your understanding of the flow is growing and abundance. And we thank everyone who is new with us here today, whether it's during the service or you're watching later on online. We greatly value the time that you've given us. We hope you've been uplifted, and we do hope you come back and visit with us again. And now we have our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And let there be peace. My life. Ends. And it's Celebration Sunday, folks. So it's time to celebrate all the great things that are happening in our lives today. And Larry's going to stop sharing the screen so we can see everybody's beautiful face on this fine Sunday, Mother's Day. Well, it's always Mother's Day is always on a Sunday, but anyways, so grateful that all of you are here today. And I know there's some great things people would, as people are getting together. Paula, you had wanted to read a poem. You can, if you're prepared, while people are getting ready for, oh, sorry, let's do celebration. And then Paula, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We'll have you read the poem after we do celebration. Somebody's celebrating something. Amber's celebrating. And George, I saw you're celebrating. Go ahead, Amber, you have to unmute yourself, hon.
There we go. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm celebrating Zoom. Because of Zoom, I'm able to be with you, and I am feeling absolutely grateful for that. I don't know what I would do without each and every one of you in my life. I am so grateful. And I'm also celebrating all the moms out there, whether it's children that you have or the four-legged version, which I have. I'm celebrating all mums. Thank you so much, Larry, for that little video in the beginning, because man, oh man, that it was incredible. My mom's passed, and there was a great deal of appreciation in those moments while watching that video. So yeah, and I'm just celebrating life in general. It's all good.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amber. And yes, we thank Bonnie for sending us the video as a suggestion that we play.
Okay.
Thank you, Bonnie, for
Woohoo.
your suggestion. And I know there was a couple of people a little bit confused. Am I at Sunday service, or is somebody trying to hire me for a job?
It came on late, yeah.
Oh, George, you had put up your hand. You need to unmute yourself, George. No, can't hear. Oh, it's Barb. Well, either way, we can't hear either of you. There we go.
Okay, I celebrated another birthday. I made it another one.
Yay!
Blue there, and I'd like to celebrate all the mothers and think of my mothers who has passed and all the other mothers we have. Thank you very much. And very good, Pauline. Very good.
Wonderful. Thanks, George, and happy birthday. And who's next? Catherine.
This might take a while. And Larry's even here with me. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and to all the women who have been able to develop their motherly skills without having had children, and learning to be kind and nurturing. Because I see so many faces here that are in the same canoe with me on that.
My mom's still here. Yay, Mom.
Larry's mom is still with us.
Yay.
And we are celebrating that today. She is such an important part of our life. Today happens to be our 29th wedding anniversary.
All right.
29 years ago today, we were in the Banff Springs Hotel with 6 other people celebrating like crazy. And yeah, that's something we'd never be able to do again, no matter how much money we make. I'm not going there again at their prices today. So that was truly a once in a lifetime. And you know what I most deeply want to appreciate is Pauline's message today. You know, and this is just coming from my heart. We really, really, really need to be prophets of the love, the compassion, the lifestyle that we learn in Unity and in the New Thought movement. Because it works. When we really, truly learn to live in prosperity and abundance and joy and love in all areas of our lives, your cup just runneth over. There is no more lack in your life. So we are also celebrating all the resources, all the love, all the energy that came together for us to purchase our new home in Manitoulin Island. And that does not mean that we're leaving London. We're going to join Wilda. We will be back on a regular basis. We will be here on Sundays. We're not leaving. We're just adjusting. So relocating. Yeah. So, so much love. Amber, I was also going to celebrate technology. Thank God for technology. This is our new world, and let's embrace it. So thank you.
5 years.
Oh, this is going to take a while. May is a big month. On the 28th of this month, I celebrate 35 years clean and sober. That's it. That's all.
Well, Bonnie, Bonnie, you want to unmute yourself? Wonderful.
Okay. I want to hold up
Sorry, Paula.
a picture of my mom. And
Paula,
I think
wait a minute,
she's-
Paula. Paula, wait
Oh,
a minute.
I'm sorry.
We're not done celebrating yet.
So,
okay, so Bonnie.
I just wanted to let you know that Tony and I celebrated our 47th wedding anniversary last week. And I just feel so incredibly blessed that I have shared most of my life with him. He is my teacher and he's my buddy. And we have so much fun together still after 47 years. I can't, wow, I just won the lottery in husbands. I did. That's all.
If I could add to that
Pretty
possibly just a
special.
little bit. Listening to what Pauline was saying earlier, come out of your comfort zone. I still recall having to step out of that comfort zone to ask Bonnie to marry me. I'm telling you, I was totally, what's it called, poopless?
We're really glad you weren't totally frozen with fear. Congratulations. Such a great couple.
Indeed.
Such a great couple. More celebrations?
David.
David? David, you're muted.
There, yeah. I think I'm unmuted.
You
You might hear some background noise here, but from the neighbors here. But anyway, I wanted to wish my mother a happy Mother's Day, of course. I can't say enough good things about her when I was growing up, and now that I'm grown up, same continues on. And also to wish the other mothers on the call here the same.
Thank you so much. Beulah, do you want to say hi to David? You have to unmute yourself. But David, we all know your mother and we know how fortunate you are. Such a wonderful.
Very fortunate, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, David. Thanks very much. I think
You're
we
welcome.
have something else to celebrate too.
What's that?
He finished his courses at university and got very, very high marks. So he has that to celebrate too.
Wonderful. Congratulations, David.
And something else, he's overcome the virus. He had.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's another thing.
Wow.
Lots of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
listen to that list. I'm not surprised that he chose #1 to celebrate you, Beulah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's for sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Any more celebrations? Wilda. Oh, Wilda, you're not muted, but we can't hear you. Try the test the speaker and microphone thing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you are.
Oh, there I am. Okay. So mostly I'm celebrating that I'm almost finished packing with the great help of my friends Jack and Teresa and other friends. And yesterday, Teresa left me a little card and in it was a little package. And it's a keychain with, it says Circle of Friends and it's from Unity. So next week, next Sunday, all things being equal, that I get this hardware working up on Manitoulin Island. I do have internet, unlike Catherine and Larry at this point. So I'm hoping to be on board then and see you again very soon. And so you can tell for sure that I'm leaving because there's no picture frames behind me. This is the real deal, folks. Like when my picture frames are unpacked, you know I'm going. So just thanks a lot for the support for this big move. And Pauline, to your message, you know, like when I first saw this house in Gore Bay that I ended up purchasing, I just knew it was the right house, but it was like, I wasn't thinking of doing this for a few years. And a good friend of mine who moved from London to Edmonton, I was talking to her about it, and she said, Wilda, what are you waiting for? And so really that was totally stepping out of my comfort zone. It was totally trusting that basically when the bank said, nah, you know, I had to take them my financials, which I never ever want to do. And so it took a while to get the financing in place, but now everything is just so, this has been such an amazing, amazing process so far. And just the miracles that have happened along the way with Peggy and Janet buying my house, with Catherine and Larry moving up. It's just like, I just keep thinking, can it get any better? And you know what?
Oh, yeah.
It's getting better. So yes, it can get better. So thank you for all of your support. I am so appreciative.
Well, we're happy for all your blessings. Okay. Okay, Paula, I'm just going to see if there's any last celebrations, and I don't think so. Okay, Paula, you can unmute yourself, and if you are celebrating anything, go ahead. But Paula also has a poem she would like